the 34th episode of the Kiefcast. And tonight is quite the topic to talk about because, well, it is not short of a understatement to say that an end of an era has approached. An end of people's childhoods have occurred. And everybody in this panel has, in one way or another, has, some sort of story to tell in terms of Cartoon Network. And that's why I brought specifically, well, of course, we have my lovely girlfriend, Kasumi, but then we have two other panelists, which is like my dear friend, Kaizuko Giru. Want to say hi?
Hello.
And then, of course, you may remember him from some podcasts ago, the Dreaming Jester, who definitely has something to say about the news of Cartoon Network as well as some good memories to talk about. Do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone! It sure has been a while since I've last been into one of your podcasts, Keefster. It surely has.
Yes. So now, let me start by asking, and anybody can go first or anything. We're not gonna take this formula. Like, what is everybody's first earliest memory of Cartoon Network? Like, okay, try to take your mindset back to when you guys were little, if you can. Like, use vivid memories if possible. Like, what is like the first thing you remember about Cartoon Network? Like, what was like the first show that you seen on the network back in the day?
Well, for me personally, I didn't really get onto Cartoon Network back then until like the 2010s, since I was more of a Nickelodeon's kid back then. But I have enjoyed the amount of shows on there, like Adventure Time, regular show, Amazing World of Gumball, and of course some Pokemon too. And of course, I later got into some the more classic shows as the years went on, like Dexter's Lab, The Powerpuff Girls, Codename Kids Next Door, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Hi Hi Puppy Amiyumi, etc.
Oh yeah, to answer, just to interrupt you for a second, to answer Kaisako's comment on the Discord VC, yes, I do mean PST, but I finished dinner early, like earlier than I expected, so that's why I was starting now. I did give out 8 o'clock PST specifically because odds are I might start late, but it's a Saturday night, so it's like 6 o'clock, or it's now 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock doesn't sound unreasonable, but anyway, yeah. So, does anyone else want to share like their earliest memories on Cartoon Network? Anyone can jump in, by the way.
I would like to go first. My earliest memory was back when Cartoon Network was in their infancy, like in the late 90s. They used to be an art side for early Hanna-Barbera and MGM shows like Yogi Bear, Tom and Jerry, or Scooby Doo. But then they grew to make more original ones, featuring things like Dexter's Lab, like Blue and Dog, and Skill Foxy Pirate Show, which was one of their first originals that fell under the. It's so obscure that you will only even see episodes of it captured on like the more bigger Cartoon Network favorites.
I see.
Yeah.
And what about you? What about you, Jacob? That just joined in the VC. Do you have any memories of Cartoon Network that you want to share? Like first shows that you can remember watching as a kid?
Um, I I don't know. Cartoon Network.
Oh,
When when I
I
first
forgot to tell you guys.
Cartoon.
I had a agreement to a call to my friend, but sorry guys, but I hope I can join back with you later.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm probably gonna have this for like an hour or two, so feel free to stop by if you have
Okay.
time.
I'll see you later.
All right, take care, Jester. All
I
right.
first thought of Cartoon Network. I first thought of SpongeBob because of Cartoon Network, but I think that's from a different company.
Yeah, SpongeBob is Nickelodeon.
Yeah. So
So I guess if I can ask a different question to you, are you more of a Nickelodeon person, like exposed to more Nickelodeon shows, or are you more like Hanna Barbera, Cartoon Network? Like for me personally, it's Cartoon Network, but I wanna like I guess we're talking
well,
about cartoons in general.
I did watch some like I guess like shows on Cartoon Network a long time ago. I just forgot what shows are on Cartoon Network.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some shows. Well, I definitely have my own memories, but I'm gonna save me for last. Kaizuko, do you want to share your experience on the network, real quick?
For me, my biggest memories from Cartoon Networks are Cartoon Network. I was like every Friday they would have new
Oh yeah.
episodes from Cartoon Network individual shows that they have. Like over the years, they had different ways to have these Cartoon Network shows. But then, as you can tell, around the 2010s, it's going to become more generic and stale. There's no hopes at all. I just show you the cartoons. Basically, removing the they used to have.
Okay. And of course, I can't leave my um girlfriend out of like speaking like Tessa or Kasumi. Like, what's your earliest memory of Cartoon Network that you can recall? And yeah, just that. We'll keep it like simple.
Well, I snuck into my parents' bedroom because that's where the TV was. I only remember watching uh, Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack at the time. Um, that's my earliest memory of Cartoon Network.
Hmm. And now for me, I think, gosh, I don't have any particular memories that stand out, but like the shows that I remember frequently watching on a daily to weekly basis was like usually at the tail end of the day, like around 6 or 7 o'clock around your respective time zones. So it'd be like Dexter's Laboratory, or it might have been Johnny Bravo in some cases. It may have been like Cow and Chicken. In some cases, it may have been even some like earlier animes like Speed Racer. Um, if we're not counting like the things that come after like after school, so like you go home from school like maybe typically around 3 o'clock or so. So it's like maybe Toonami when you have the blocks. You have like Maguzi blocks, like oh, so there's countless things I can say, but like the ones that stand out, the ones that are my favorite shows, I'd say definitely Samurai Jack, definitely Dexter's Lab, definitely shit. I definitely enjoy Cow and Chicken in some cases. Well, not enjoy, but like it's just a show that you watch because it was on TV. And then um, like some of yeah, Powerpuff Girls. Those are some of like the shows that I wouldn't say define, but like definitely shows that I remember like frequently watching like our daily or weekly basis, depending on when they used to show it. And then Kaizuko mentioned Fridays or something. Like that was another thing that I remember from the network specifically. Um, so I guess I can just transition topic to like what not necessarily shows, but what are some events that you remember from the network? Like anything that stands out, like some sort of commercial or something that makes Cartoon Network stand out above, let's say, Nickelodeon. Like what? Let's just say what makes Cartoon Network maybe better than other like like cartoon blocks or children blocks among what makes it stand out above the rest? Let's just put it that way. Anyone can go.
With Cartoon Network, they definitely win as far as variety. While Nickelodeon fails to really experiment, always sticking with the same comedies or starting downhill very early. You had your action shows, you had your comedies, you had your slice of life, you had your anime, and of course Toonami. Like there's so much to offer as far as both originals and licensed shows. that really helps Cartoon Network stand out. I wouldn't see the live action material, but let's just say that will be decided in the age of indie and done Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I think it's just so like I understand Nickelodeon can do that, but like Cartoon Network in live action just where it starts to become cringe. But ah man, okay, so what about you, Jacob? Is there any like I know maybe this is not a topic that you're totally familiar with, but like or there are like some sort of things that you remember about Cartoon, like any particular shows that you like to see of the network if you I guess grew up.
Well, I do remember. I don't know if people on Cartoon Network, but it's like Teen Titans.
Oh, Teen Titans, yeah. Heck yeah. We'll definitely get into the Toonami bits in a moment. What about you, Kasumi? Any favorite shows from the network? Any moments that stand out for you?
Besides Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, the, uh, Pokemon wasn't originally on Cartoon Network or Yu-Gi-Oh, but I guess they adopted it after a while.
Oh yeah, I remember those days. And
Mostly because Kids WB was sort of dying.
and also it's like believe it or not, right when Cartoon Network started airing those particular anime, like that's when I started to watch more of it at the time that they were airing it. Heck, I remember they put in Yu-Gi-Oh! The dub of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX on Maguzi when that started to take over Toonami's like afternoon block. But let's actually use that as a transition. Anime fans or not, like, what are you guys' like standout moments of Toonami of the past? Like, I guess going back to my original question with Cartoon Network, so like, what's your earliest memory of Toonami? Since this kind of matters with like the whole block as a whole. Anyone can
Earliest
go.
memory would definitely would have to be when they started introducing lead. Because for me, that's when not only it made people more aware of ASMS, but that was their highest rated ratio at the time. Like if it's not children watching Pokemon, it's all children and adults enjoying how good Dragon Ball Z truly was. You didn't really need any content to the original Dragon Ball, which would have required more censorship, and Cartoon Network has tried. Although there were accounts that aired Dragon Ball later, which they did. But fact of the matter is, my earliest memories were definitely from both Dragon Ball Z, when they truly got taken or made more serious, like most of them.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob? Do you are you familiar with Toonami? If so, what's something that you remember about Toonami, if at all?
Oh, what's that? Like, is that a show? A
Toonami? No,
cartoon?
Toonami is actually not a show. It's a block. It's like another block on Toonami where it shows like mostly anime shows, but also like action pack shows, like shows that are like revolve around like action sequences or something, like
Oh,
superhero shows and stuff like that.
I haven't seen much of anime, and even fan of
Gotcha.
TV.
Well, they have shown like Batman and Superman on the block before, and also like some cases like Samurai Jack or shows that are like anime inspired but not really anime.
Wait, is Samurai Jack like a bloody show?
Uh, if you're talking about like pre-season, what was it 11 6 was like the last one?
Because I do remember
Like before it became on
watching
Adult
it.
Swim, Samurai Jack wasn't as violent, but then when it came on Adult Swim, it became a lot more violent for sure. Um,
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering because I thought I saw Samurai Jack and it had a little bit more violence.
yeah, Well, I believe the same creator also made a show called Primal, which is definitely a lot more violent than Samurai Jack, I believe.
Mm.
Um, he's also made Star Wars: The Clone Wars in that animation style as well. Before the Clone Wars became its own 3D series, if you guys remember that.
I definitely
Oh yeah,
remember that.
there's like different types of Clone Wars shows, and one is like 2D.
Yeah, like where
Like
General Grievous was introduced and all that stuff.
yeah.
Uh huh. That actually gave me goosebumps back then. But okay, let me ask Kasumi, like, what's your, I guess, earliest memory of Toonami, and what's like your favorite thing about Toonami? I guess
I
even now.
just remember my dad and me watching a lot of superhero shows on there, and like that became a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday thing in the morning before working on the house.
Hmm.
But like I said, my memory's a terrible thing.
But if you can remember, like, what are some shows that you enjoy that are like, I guess, either superheroes or anime, like on the block?
Well, Teen Titans was one of them. I don't remember the rest besides Samurai Jack.
Well, in the network they had like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, Tenchi Muyo, Rurouni
A
Kenshin.
lot of Dragon Ball around that time. That's when me and my dad got into it.
Sounds like I'll definitely get along with your dad then. All right. Hmm. So I guess if I can ask this question, like this kind of leads into the current situation of the network. Um, where did you guys feel like Cartoon Network started to decline, like in quality? Like, I think one of the obvious things is because everybody's using the internet. No one's really watching TV. Like, is that enough for it to be a reason to transition or have the Cartoon Network that we knew merge with HBO? Or do you guys think it's inevitable that it was going to go to this direction? Anyone can go.
It was around Teen Titans Go is when I lost interest of watching Cartoon Network.
I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Would anyone else agree with that? Teen Titans Go being kind of garbage.
Oh
For
my
me,
god.
that was definitely a deal breaker.
Why is it a deal breaker to you?
Oh, you
Wasn't
haven't
everything
seen
we
it.
loved?
I know. I've seen it. I want. I'm kind of like interviewing you guys. Why to the audience is Teen Titans Go a deal breaker? Pretend that I don't know.
I'll just say this. Imagine loving everything about the original Teen Titans for being a skateboard, enjoying it, almost feeling like the actual comic book itself. Going for this whole meta approach and be like, hey, let's do this. Hey. And pretty much making meta jokes and our haters because we can't take criticism. For me, that's why I can't stand the show, other than the fact that Cartoon Network hoards it so much on their schedule. Remember when their schedule used to be instead of Teen Titans Go, Rita and Daphne? That's how bad the situation was.
Yeah, I remember the shows that really got me to Lost Me. Well, the only other show that I tuned occasionally that got me sort of to enjoy was like regular show, but then I can't get into Chowder. I can't get into uh, freaking um Adventure Time. Adventure Time a little bit, but like I started to lose interest when it came to like much more like kind of like the modern shows like Steven Universe. I tried like watching a couple of episodes. I couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. It just the art style didn't really catch my attention. To be perfectly frank. Like, and that's not to say the show is bad or anything. It's just it didn't catch my attention.
It Teen Titans Go was actually really horrible. It was babyfied so kids could watch it,
Yeah.
and that's what made me upset, and that's why I stopped watching TV all in general because that's the only channel I would watch. Um,
The only other show they will milk just as much on their schedule is Gumball. And the big difference that Gumball is actually a pretty clever show that knows how to do meta so much better than Teen Titans now.
Yeah.
mhm.
I'd say so. Uh, I'd say some animes that kind of stand out for me in terms of like back then it was like okay, not in particular orders like Zatch Bell or some cases as like yeah, like some cases like shows that he put in the WB, I start to watch it on Toonami. Like even like the 4 Kids version of One Piece, I got into like a little bit, but not for too long. Of course, Dragon Ball was like a huge part of it. Um, okay, this is probably kind of wacky, but do you guys remember the anime Bobobo?
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
Yeah.
I've
uh,
watched at least 2 episodes from that.
I know. Let's see what else. And then there's like what? Various Gundam shows. They had like Yu Yu Hakusho like censored from adult. They shared because they had it on Adult Swim, and then they moved it to Toonami time slot. Oh man! Anytime I see like the intros of that, it's just yeah. Um. Well, let me think. Like, uh,
Let's just say this: the internet is killing TV.
yeah, yeah,
You can hurry and watch anything you want without having to pay for
yeah. It's
something.
like if you want to watch like a full, let's just say if you want to watch most of Dexter's Laboratory, most likely you can just find it online somewhere. So it's not that hard.
I wouldn't say streaming services too, but ever since the merger with Discovery, they were removing a lot of original shows.
I think because they know that they're probably going to transition fully online now, which makes me wonder if they're going to do that for that. It makes me wonder if, like we were discussing this before, they should freaking put Toonami. They should make a Toonami YouTube channel. They definitely should, and then just keep the network as they have been on TV, except they just should just live stream the network. Make their own official like Toonami thing on YouTube. People would eat that shit up. I can guarantee you. Or Twitch even. That could work as well. So I guess what was like the last thing you guys uh, remember watching on television? Like the very last thing that you remember watching, and then it's like fuck TV. I'm going straight to YouTube or something like
The last thing,
yeah.
Full House.
Uh huh.
That was the last thing I watched before they started Charter started saying they'll stop streaming to TVs without a freaking cable box.
Mhm.
That was the last thing I
Was this
Yeah.
recent or like a couple years ago, a few years
No,
ago?
this was like 2015.
Damn. I remember around that time, that's when I slowly transitioned from the internet to. Heck, right around like like transition from the internet, I was always usually on the internet. Do you guys remember when Toonami was like pull off the air for like a period of time, and then it finally came back because of popular demand, and then you guys remember like the Adult Swim April Fools Toonami thing that happened?
Oh, definitely. I saw that over my cousin's house, and it's definitely one of the best memories. Like, it actually got me inspired the idea that maybe Cartoon Network's going there. You know?
Dude, I remember I was helping my dad with something, and I was like, what the fuck? No freaking way. That was my reaction when this was going on. And that actually got me to sit through the freaking television. Now I don't really do that, but it's like, dude, this is exactly what was missing. Imagine Tom doing a review on Persona 5 Royal. Oh man, someone should write the script for that.
Yeah, that would actually get some views. Because Persona 5 is technically still alive and kicking.
Yeah. So, let's just say you guys were to decide like anime block or some established cartoon, like how would you, let's just say because Cartoon Network is going through a transition, if you were guys, if you were the guys in charge of making the big decisions, how would you change Cartoon Network's structure from what it is right now?
Tilting to children and to put more shows towards teens on.
Kaizuko?
Instead of cutting everything off HBO Max, you can put them all back on there. But at the same time, give Toonami its own dedicated news channel where they can see all the news.
Yep.
And at the same time, just market your shows more so strong cable shows. Because the reason why Adventure show ended was because they pushed Teen Time Show a lot to the point that people almost forgot those shows were still going.
All right. So, with that same note, wait, does this merger? Okay, I do have a question. I haven't really looked too deeply. Will this merger affect like Adult Swim or Toonami or just Cartoon Network? Like
They
I,
said was that the reason we're not on the when we're trying to get our feet wet with the shows because
yeah. I mean, as far as like anime is concerned, no one needs to turn on Toonami to watch that anymore. So, it almost seems like Toonami is kind of irrelevant as far as like the current platform that it's in.
and not only that, not that many new adult swim shows are really back. The same shows they still like they don't.
Yep. So on that same note, what would be some things you guys would shall we say um, add in terms of like topics I mean sorry it's like shows say if you want to put some anime on Toonami, like what would be some your own personal recommendations to change things up from like the typical shonen series that we've been seeing on the network or on the block I should say.
Flame would be good on there.
What would?
Spy X Family.
Oh yeah. I
That
be-
would fit their demographic that they're trying to reach for. Try to.
Chainsaw Man, even though it is shonen, it's pretty much borderline insane to the point where it can actually appeal to an adult. You
I think I agree with that. In fact, they could easily syndicate it if they wanted to. I recommended like Fate Zero for a while on Toonami, but there are some other shows in the past that they could have done. I'm surprised they never done Fairy Tale this whole time, because they put in the other like shonen shows in there as well. So let's just say there's some shows that they have in the past. What would be some shows that you want them to put from the past to put in the current lineup that will fit with the current the way of things? Say if they want to attract like some older viewers, for instance. Guys, go.
Huh?
Or anyone can go.
Older. I have no idea about that.
What about you, Kai?
A way to appeal more to adults.
Yeah, like what are some like shows from the past lineup? Like, let's say Yu Yu Hakusho or Kenshin. Like, what any of the shows from yesteryear? Which one of those like shows would fit into the current lineup? Or if we were to do like a say change up Toonami's like lineup of right now.
The original All Star made it on Wisconsin where a few episodes they refused to air when they initially aired it. The one with the bear.
Yeah, I would personally put Code Geass again because goddamn, that was the show that really got me into anime. Like really truly got me into anime or Death Note for that matter. But it's just me. Um, but yeah, getting to like the merger thing, I this is kind of one of the reasons why I understand why they had to merge because of like that's how you expand the company into the modern times. But it's like it is kind of scary how HBO is or sorry WB is monopolizing as much as Disney is. I'm just scared that if that's just how it's gonna be, I can't imagine you know how much control that does that entity would have over like the rest of it when they were just independent studios before. Um,
Yeah, that that does bring up a good question. How would that work? Because isn't Warner Bros. The one who makes like the Looney Tune movie that did absolutely shit?
you mean like Space Jam, the recent one, or
No, I'm talking the Looney Tune movie.
That
oh,
Frozen.
Was that by Warner Brothers?
Yes.
oh, I see what you mean. Damn, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it makes me kind of worried about the future.
I mean, we recently have what Multiverses as a video game crossover, and mostly it's WB. WB is basically competing with Disney in terms of like that sort of like grab. Like DC, sorry, WB has like DC, and then Disney has like Marvel and Star Wars and stuff. I remember the days where some of these things were just their own thing, and then because they got bigger, we started to get some like lackluster like products. Like I'm gonna basically kind of go off the tangent and say like cough cough She-Hulk. That was kind of a mess by the finale.
And you don't want to ever see She-Hulk twerk again. Ever. That one was.
Like I appreciate the Daredevil cameos for sure, but it's like, oh my goodness. That actually made me unsubscribe to Disney Plus, by the way. I was like, nah, I'm gonna save my money. No, fuck. I can't. I'm not even gonna see Star Wars Endor, even. Like, I can't.
I'm wondering if they're gonna put the FNAF movie on Cartoon Network, then it's gonna be like this.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to get used to the idea of Cartoon Network's gonna be on online now. So.
Oh yeah.
And maybe behind a paywall, which is gonna be kind of shitty. Imagine, imagine, imagine paying a subscription fee just to watch your favorite cartoons.
Most of them are HBO Max anymore, and half of their material that they it's just the usual studio Ghibli or actual HBO movies, Warner movies or money films at that point. And DC.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just kind of crazy, isn't it?
It's nuts. 30 years or plus on TV, and then they're doing this. I get TV's not working anymore, like, for people who aren't tuning in as much because of the internet. It's because there's nothing to watch.
Oh yeah. There's just not like, why bother doing that when you can just watch YouTube, right? Like you're on YouTube, you're watching things, whatever you want. You distract yourself at any point at any time. And it's like content creators basically replace networks if you think about it. Like
Go on Crunchyroll or an anime website to watch anime.
yeah. And besides, my pastime now is either playing a JRPG, watching an anime, or maybe a combination of both.
Same here.
Like, I don't have like the capacity to just sit and watch TV anymore. The only semblance of TV that I watch is when I run in the treadmill, and the treadmill has like mute audio of whatever channels you slip, like CNN or something, and then you just watch, and then you just run and watch whatever the fuck it was on at the time that you're running the treadmill. That's it.
I get very impatient with ads. If I can't skip ads, I turn off the TV and go straight to YouTube.
Yeah. At least you stick with the ads around for my sake.
I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Because Twitch won't let me skip any ads.
Yeah, that's the thing I hate about Twitch is like, dude, Twitch, why are you imposing these sort of things like that? But yeah. Um. hmm. Oh hey, Jester, what's up? Yeah. So I personally think that there's quite a bit that could be said about this. I definitely had fond memories with the network for sure. It's definitely shaped my childhood in some ways. It's just where it's going right now. It's like it's not as relevant as before. It's like uh, anytime you want to see like a new sort of show, especially for Japan, or everything, you can just watch it online. Um, I don't know about like Western shows, but there are not a lot of like Western stuff that really appeals to me nowadays. I'm not just saying that I'm a weeb or whatever. It's just yeah, like I said, may not come back and we see with you in time, but at least I'll watch you guys. Yeah, that's okay, Jester. So we may wrap things up pretty soon, Jester. But just to get your opinions, what do you think of like the whole merger thing with Cartoon Network? Do you think it was inevitable, or did you think that it was something that you were hoping that wasn't going to happen? I'm asking Jester in the chat. I honestly thought at first, but I was like the end of Cartoon Network. Yeah, it's definitely feels like the end of Cartoon Network. Considering this is not gonna be that long. Do you have any last concluding thoughts on this, Kaisuko? Of the state of cartoon and then transition of things.
I can say that everything that Teen Titans Go now can and Cartoon Network 3. This is probably one of the biggest flows. But it's not really their fault in this case. It's more just I'll say, well, hold on. We'll leave into this.
Yeah, I'm having internet problems.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm on mobile data for right now. We're seeing what's going on.
Yeah, I was just giving some last thoughts since I think we more or less said what we had to say about the network. So, Kasumi, what's your last thoughts on this merger deal with Cartoon Network?
I'm gonna give it a chance, but I don't fully trust it.
Yeah, neither do I. Well, I don't even watch TV anyways, so I'm just gonna say the future is definitely uncertain, but it's like with new changes, that seems to be inevitable to this sort of thing. So I'll just keep this going for a couple more minutes, and it's like 40 minutes, 40 minutes in. 45 minutes will be. No, I'll put it for a slot at 50. I just wonder, Chester's like, I just wonder what will happen to Cartoon Network in the future. That's a good question too, Jester. I'm wondering what's gonna happen too. Like, I'm wondering what kids are gonna experience nowadays because more or less the kids nowadays grew up with the internet that we know of right now. So it's like their perspectives are obviously gonna be a little bit different from ours growing up back then. Because back in my day, like, dude, I grew up like VHS tapes. I remember like all the Star Wars tapes that I had to like anytime I finished like the whole movie, I would have to like rewind the tape with the tape rewinder, and then and then that transition from DVDs and that also transition from Blu-rays. Like I was all in on that, and I vaguely also remember Laserdisc too back then as well.
I feel old. I remember the VHSs, tapes, tape recorders, fucking boom boxes.
Yeah, that's a good point, Chester. I think the best way to look at this is also like it's like a celebration. It's like an anniversary. Like this is more of an anniversary than Atlas's Persona 5 Persona 25th anniversary. So I would say that I agree with that, Chester. Um,
Well, if I'm gonna switch back since the internet's back on, I think. Um, I just need to disconnect my mobile data.
okay.
So I'll be hopefully right back. If not, we'll,
Yeah. Well, if we won't be back, then just say goodbye to the audience, I guess, just in case.
um, it's just a couple seconds
All
to
right.
check if the internet's up.
All right. We'll wait for you. All right. Uh, I do know that the 25th anniversary they didn't play any classics in the schedule.
Okay.
I think they have their own channel dedicated for classic shows called Boomerang. But
Oh,
like,
they did.
I'm just wondering, does that also affect Boomerang too, like this merger thing, Kaizuko?
Probably.
What about you, Kaizuko?
It'll probably only affect Wolverine's newer material, but definitely not all the old material.
Yeah, I would think so too. Well, for Boomerang now, they only play classic Cartoon Network shows at midnight now. Yeah, I don't really know because I don't really watch TV anymore, so I'll take your word for it, Jester.
Oh, I remember Boomerang being on when I was in middle school, and the only reason how I knew that is the principal and vice principals were nice enough to turn on the TVs that were in the hall in the cafeteria to watch shows at the time.
Yeah,
I really miss Boomerang if it's still on there. I remember Flintstones being on there.
I remember
And
Flint.
the
I remember. I
Jetsons.
remember Flintstones being on Cartoon Network too when I was younger. Oh my god, this is flooding back memories. I even have some VHSs on some of these things. Holy shit.
Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones. Have a yabba dabba do time.
Are they gonna
A
add?
yabba
Are they
do
gonna
time.
add Fred in Verteam Multiverses? That'll be interesting if they ever do that.
He's actually rumored, so there's a chance he could be added later.
uh,
Instant main material there.
yeah. But man, this is sort of like a callback to like when I did the podcast on Toonami way back when. Okay, it's too bad that Cartoon Network doesn't play high puffy Ami Yumi anymore. After, I mean, wasn't that based on the actual idols themselves, and they're kind of grown up now, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, it was. And honestly, the show wasn't really that much of a hit. I believe it only lasted for one or maybe two seasons when it premiered.
I see.
Yeah.
And I believe those are the singers that sang the Teen Titans theme, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
Are they still like around? I wonder. Like the people, not like the show, but like I'm gonna look this up.
Have to probably still be around. I
They're
Hi,
would
definitely still
say
active.
hi,
they're
Puffy.
probably in boomer territory though, or at least in 40s,
Okay.
50s.
Either way, just
Yeah, she's 49, and then the one that plays the other girl is they're like almost 40 years old now. Dang.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Ew.
Interesting to know.
and unfortunately, they sang the opening for Teen Titans Go as well.
Well, you
Oh.
can't really blame them because that's part of their job, but it's like
Uh, I like.
didn't one of the Teen Titans storyboard artists passed away recently this year? Wasn't that the
Yeah.
case? Yeah, so
I just don't like Teen Titans Go. They babyfied it 100%.
yeah.
I watched like two, maybe three episodes of it, and I'm like, nope. Because my dad was wondering about it too, and I told him no. I would rather pyrite the original Teen Titans than Teen Titans Go. Watch that.
Yeah. I'm gonna make this stretch for an hour before I pull it off. Uh. Also, sorry if I didn't see most of the stream, but you guys are also talking about. Yeah, we were. Jester, what are your earliest memories of Toonami? If we didn't get to you, like anything you want to say about your Toonami that you remember from that, and then compare to right now, real quick, for you, Jester.
Well, I'm doing my drop now. Okay.
All right, let me check mine real quick. I got 7 minutes left for mine. All right. All right, let me. So in case you didn't hear the question, Jester, like I was asking, like what was like your experience on Toonami, and yes, we did talk about a while ago, and I wanted to hear like any fond memories that you can name before I pull the stream, before I end the stream for Jester. Yeah, in a little bit. I mean, I'll give it a few more minutes, but I was wanting to ask you like what was like your fond memories on Toonami in general, whatever you want to name. We're just basically talking about Cartoon Network as a whole, but Toonami is like my favorite bits of it, so just wanted to get like your input out of it is all. Oh, so you're checking out the promos. I see. Well, what were some shows that you have seen back then that you can remember then, at least? We got 4 more minutes and then I'll end the stream. Um. Yeah, I think my biggest issue with like Cartoon right now is like, yes, I know it's for kids and everything and stuff, but like, even there are some like shows that would just appeal to like me back then, even like if I was like an adult back then. But it's like, no, it's just very hard to wrap your head around that because it's all very much aim, like obviously aimed for the younger genographic demographic, I should say.
And for kids, just like every other cartoon show, which.
Cartoons. Ah man, also I remember like seeing some classics like before I pulled like, Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, Popeye, The Sailor Man, like shows like that, and maybe even a little bit of Baby Boop. I don't remember
Yeah.
like a little bit of that, like some of like the really old shows from like the 1940s and 30s and stuff like that. Like that's something like my parents would remember, that's for sure. Like the boomer generation, essentially.
Yeah, that's something that they would remember.
And Spoonheads, which was like a documentary of those older Looney Tunes that was educational and also shown those dorks.
If we're talking about Toonami, then we should be bringing back Sailor Moon to. They should. I would say they should definitely add Madoka Magica into their lineup. I don't understand why they haven't
No,
yet.
I can't get past the third episode of that.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, but
that's basically where shit hits the fan, though.
yeah, no, I can't get past that episode. And every episode after then is basically like that. Nah.
Well, it's a deconstruction. It's supposed to be like, oh, actually, he's not so happy and go. It's actually like,
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I was warned ahead of time before watching it. But imagine just stumbling upon that. The two first episodes cool for kids, but the third is traumatizing.
Yeah. But I'd say yes. I definitely agree with the Spy X Family suggestion for Toonami. They definitely should put that in there. Fuck, this is kind of like a cop out. Put Persona 5 the animation, even though it's a cop out, or Persona 4 the animation. Like,
It's definitely
Yeah.
Like, Rise of the Shield Hero.
Yes. Oh my gosh, dude. You think that'd be obvious?
Friggin', like, make it a pure anime sh- uh, 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 channel. I would love that because there's not one here that's a pure anime channel that's free.
Yeah, that's true. I remember like before the internet, I even had like this Japanese channel that had like shows in purely Japanese. That's where I watched like Dragon Ball GT for the first time, believe it or not, and it was like, "Oh shit."
But that's Japanese. Here in the Western part, there is not a good free anime channel for
Like
free.
basically like if you have satellite, you can even watch shows from like Japan, believe it or not, like before the internet back then. Depends on your
Yeah,
satellite cable though.
just depends on if. Yeah,
Like without paying anything, of course, but it's like
yeah,
it does.
but nowadays people don't have that.
Yeah, well, my parents have something kind of like that now with what they're watching, except instead of a satellite, they use like kind of like the internet sort of thing, and they just flip the channel. My parents will
Yeah.
not fully transition to the internet because that's how they are.
Oh, well, if you have a VPN, that might be a little different statement, though.
Oh, that's true. Oh, anyways, I think we more or less covered what we need to on about this topic. Cartoon Network was great, but the future is a bit uncertain. So, great excuse to talk about cartoons and everything. I'm gonna be signing off. Kusa's gonna be gone. Dirty demons. Do you want to say goodbye, Kazuko and Kasumi?
But
Yes, I like to say have a good one.
All right, and with that, take care.